Okay, so let's see. Are we uh are we back on YouTube? Okay, so looks like Periscope is back. Let's see if people notice the new feed on YouTube here. YouTube, you have to come back in. See, where's the YouTube one? So YouTube, I think you have to look for the new stream. Okay, so there's a new stream on YouTube. Okay, so YouTube has a new stream, and Periscope is back. Okay, so are we all good? And no more dings. Okay, no more dings. Can you? We're good here. So let me just verify the numbers. I don't like it when it does this because then it destroys the continuity of the videos because I can't combine it. Alexa was trying to sabotage your broadcast. Well, I'm on Google here, so I have to criticize Google. Google would be the one to terminate me here, not Google and Twitter. In this case, it's I'm talking about Amazon. So anyway, I guess I lost all the YouTube people, and I hope everyone comes back on YouTube here. Let me just see if I can get people from the prior stream onto the new one. Can somebody just pass the word here that they're on the wrong stream, that they need to go to the new stream? Anyway, we're not going to bother. It's zocked up now. Okay, I don't like touching that. It's like it gets screwed up. Okay, so make sure you're back on YouTube because everybody left the YouTube broadcast. So again, to summarize where we were, we were talking about the Alexa Echo having two modes. One is the pre-wake up mode, or wake up interactions, and then there's the Alexa interaction. That's post-wake up. So post-wake up is referred to as Alexa interactions, and I was telling you that looking at the terms of use, the end user license agreement, they clearly state, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about this, that yes, they do in fact store all Alexa interactions. They don't even say anything about we store Alexa interactions for a certain amount of time. We store Alexa interactions if you if we store anything that you interact with an Alexa forever, even if it's an accidental interaction. So if somebody comes and robs you at your house and they're at the door, just say, Alexa, why are you robbing me? And then the Alexa interaction will then trigger in, and then it should in fact record the interaction. It will not get deleted because that's what they said in the end user license agreement. So if anybody comes into your house, and by the way, they can hear you from Alexa can hear you from many rooms. So even if you're by the door, Alexa is in the kitchen, and you're by the front door, and somebody opens the door and pulls out a gun and says, "I want your money," and then you say, "Alexa, you want my money," and then they'll have to store that on Alexa for sure. Okay, that's not going to be an issue. Don't tell me that there's a chime again, because I'm not going to pay attention to it. Okay, if there's some more chiming, then I'm not going to repeat that process again. That's too disruptive. If there's a chiming sound, we are going to stop the broadcast if you can't stand it anymore. but I'm not going to go restart. We'll put up with it. Okay, so anyway, and yeah, sorry if there's any kind of hardware problem like that. Maybe there's a loose connection somewhere, and I have to check and see where it is. Just ignore it. It happens every 4 minutes. I already rebooted. It's all those wires. Okay, so anyway, we're not, just think about it as station identification. If you see it every 4 minutes, I think the chiming happens when you raise your eyebrows. There we go. Okay, so Alexa interactions are kept, but the part that you did not know about was the second part of this is that Alexa also does voice printing. They create a profile of your voice and they do voice printing to recognize your voice. Now, the problem with this kind of technology is what makes you think that the voice recognition will limit itself to your profile? Why can't it cross profiles? So if you say, I visit the following 5 homes, why couldn't Alexa say, oh yeah, we saw you at this home, and this home? Why would you think that would not be the case? So, from a programmer's point of view, that shouldn't make any difference where it is. If they wanted to do it, they could say, oh, that's interesting information. We'd like to see who's connected from a friendship point of view based on your voice print, and let's connect the dots and use it as a relationship map. And then maybe we can cross-sell. We can say, well, your friend bought this, so you may want the same thing. So they're going to say, okay, we now heard you. We know you live on a different block or maybe even a different part of town, but your friend just bought himself a toy gun like this, and we're going to recommend a toy gun for you as well. I see your friend bought a BlackBerry like this because he's afraid of voice location tracking. Therefore, we're going to recommend the same device to you because you're a friend. So why wouldn't this be part of it? Obviously, you can expect that will be part of it. There will be this connection of relationship maps similar to contact lists, and this is what connects everyone, and this is why you cannot hide even more. So, yes, we have been live, Drac. BlackBerry, can I recommend this Miami Vice blazer? Yes, yes, you can. Miami Vice was before the BlackBerry. Okay, forget Irish recognition. Use the proletariat's voices. So anyway, voice recognition has now evolved to voice printing. Now, we already know that the National Zucking Agency has a very extensive voice print database. This is, by the way, this is something you should know. Voice printing specifically here. So all of these devices, Amazon, Echo, Siri, and Bixby, and Cortana, and Google Assistant, all keep your interactions. They all say they keep your voice interactions, so that's not a secret. Siri, Apple says they only keep it for 6 months. And Cortana, Google, and Microsoft, Google, and Amazon says we keep it for as long as we want, which has so far been forever. Now, Amazon has clearly stated now that they are going to keep it forever, although they give you a way to delete it if you want in their database. Okay, there you go. Daryl is having a little bit of doubt, and that's good attitude to have. I have doubt. When somebody says that, they'll say, "Oh, what verification do we have that you're going to do that?" Everyone says things like that, and one of the biggest lies is your stuff is encrypted. Okay, and the first question you're going to ask is encrypted by whom, and decrypted by whom. Okay, so one of the biggest examples of this is Apple iMessage. So Ron Waxman said, "Well, I only send my junk pics. I only send my junk pics using iMessage. I only send my junk pics using iMessage. So I feel safe using. I'm not going to send my junk pics by email. I'm not going to send it in DM over Twitter, but I'm okay with sending it by iMessage." And then you think to yourself and say, okay, well, why do you send it through iMessage? Well, because Apple says it's encrypted. Okay. And you trust that. Well, just to give you a little hint here, Apple encrypts it. They can decrypt it because the password is not something you provide. The password is something they provide. So they can, if they can encrypt it, they can decrypt it. Okay? So if you're going to tell me that if the three-letter agency says, well, we want a copy of Ron Waxman as a foreigner, so we want to have his interactions being a foreigner, he's subject to the rules, subject to surveillance, open surveillance by the National Zucking Agency, and we want to see all his junk pics. So in theory, they can go to Apple, and Apple can open up the iMessage, and they can see it all. And even beyond that, when you enable iMessage on a Mac, the Mac keeps a decrypted copy of all of your text conversations and all the text media. I don't know if you know that. So that's how your Mac is able to see the traffic in iMessage. It saves it to a folder on the Mac, and you can see clearly what's being done. In fact, let's say you have a family on iMessage. All you have to do is turn on iMessage on the Mac and have it capture everybody's text in the whole family, and it will store on a drive on the Mac, and all of you will have a log decrypted, visible to all, and all that has to happen is for somebody to hack the Mac. Okay? So, remember the Jeff Bezos, junk pics? They were like, remember the Jeff Bezos junk pics? And somebody said, well, how do you hack that? Well, you go to the woman's computer. Let's say she has a Mac, and she may not know it, but the Mac will likely keep a copy of all the text messages unencrypted right on the computer. So all you have to do is put a remote access Trojan on the computer. Don't even touch the phone, and then you got it. What McAfee? McAfee where? What does McAfee have to do with anything? So anyway, what I'm saying is, there's your trust. Everything that says trust, there's always an if statement to that, and say, trust but verify. Again, Simon, where's Simon? He's probably sleeping because he's from the EU. He's currently from the EU. I don't trust McAfee. Well, I like McAfee, although he's kind of crazy, but I like him. What does McAfee have to do with anything? Are you talking about McAfee antivirus or McAfee personally? So, yeah, you should trust McAfee. McAfee is Intel. I don't trust McAfee, the software. I don't have McAfee on my computers. Neither will I trust Romantech. So I don't trust any antivirus. He is a maniac. Well, of course, it's you, Kelp. Everything you say, that's often a sign of, if you put a negative on a person, it's means it's a positive for us. So, no, Daryl, no Zaki AVG for me. Watch my video on which antivirus to use. It's one of my popular videos. Okay, go to YouTube and watch the video. The best antivirus that I recommend. That's not going to repeat that. He's accused of murdering a guy. You apparently don't have any history on that. Okay, that's no longer an issue. Accused of murdering a guy, but he is running from the IRS right now. What about video codes? Video codec. What do you want to know about that? But that's a different story. Let's stick to this first, and maybe we'll You can ask me those later. So Alexa keeps voice printing, and as we say, as I said earlier, uh, you know, we are expecting. I don't know why you would expect this, but we're expecting that the voice print will be used only to identify your identity in a certain house. And why would you make that assumption? The assumption should be made that wherever you are, if they encounter your voice, they'll know what your account is on Amazon. So if you go to your neighbor's house and you borrow some sugar and they hear your voice on Amazon Echo, it says, Alexa, can I borrow some sugar? And then Alexa will know it's the neighbor. We know you're the neighbor because we know what the address is from the location of the Alexa Echo device, and so we know your neighbors, and we can do a relationship map. And then when somebody buys sugar, we'll sell the other one sugar, and so on and so forth. So this is the kind of thing that I expect this will extend to. And my fear is that this is already part of the infrastructure that's already been created for voice printing. Now let me tell you about voice printing for a moment. For those of you who don't know this, Snowden indicated on Twitter about a year ago or over a year ago that the National Zucking Agency has a very sophisticated voice printing capability. Very, very significant. In fact, in a matter of seconds, they can spot hearing a voice anywhere in the world. So let's say you were, Omar from the Taliban, or you were, if you were Osama bin Laden. This is why those guys never spoke on the internet or in cell, because they could, if the moment they get their voice on any kind of system, the National Zucking Agency has the capability to spot them anywhere in the world. This is one of the reasons we had the discussion about burner phones, because Tony was saying, "Oh, I got a burner phone and I buy them, for $20 at Walmart, and we don't have Walmart here in Los Angeles, so in my case, I'm going to say Best Buy because I don't have Walmart." So you pick up your phone and you talk, and immediately using voice printing capability, it doesn't matter if you have a burner phone. They know exactly who you are, and they say, "Oh, it's Tony. He's on a burner phone." Circuit Court in Orlando used the wrong McAfee. What the fuck are you talking about, Kelp? It was in a different country. What state are you talking about here? Orlando? Kelp is just too zucked up, okay? Kelp is, until recently, Kelp was, McAfee was in the U.S. They can do that. I don't mind. Oh, of course, Matthew. Of course you don't mind. And thank you for using your even fuller name. You even expanded your name from before. So you said, "Oh, it's not enough that I call myself Dr. Matthew Vick. I've got to put my middle name in there and say Dr. Matthew Ryan Vick to make sure that they really got me identified." And it's just perfect. Yes, I understand that, Dr. Matthew Vick Pastor. So yes, so that's excellent. Make sure you get your stuff on Amazon Echo for your house and for your church, okay? And make sure you put the Amazon Echo in your church so that everyone who speaks on the on the lectern will be analyzed by Amazon. Do you look up all your viewers? No, I do not look up my viewers, Daryl. I don't have time for that. I don't have any interest in doing that. And it's not my job to look you up. Okay, I don't even look up people who go join Braxton. I don't have any mechanism for looking you up. So I don't know. However, if somebody is coming here talking damaging things and trying to hurt me in some way, yes, I will start looking you up then. Okay, if somebody's bad intent, I will look you up. Uh, but that's a general thing. I do not do that. No. So you should all know that. Many of you have been in my app for years, and you know that I've protected you this whole time. Okay. So you respect my hacker senses. Thank you, Daryl. Okay, so back to this. So voice printing, this is one of the reasons burner phones are kind of pointless, because if you're hiding from the government, simply by picking up the phone and saying, "I'm here," that's it. Identified. Okay, and if the phone has location, then you're sucked. So I don't really think that this can really stop you from being identified by three-letter agencies, but at least, maybe it can, if you get this kind rather than this kind, one of these can track your location and one of them will not. So you make a choice. This is not tracking location. This will track you within 6 docking feet. Okay? So that's part of the voice part. So comparing this to Siri, for some of you who use Siri and you say, well, is Siri dangerous? Okay, so Siri wake up word, I believe, is on the phone. For birthday or for Christmas, is that an old school BlackBerry phone? This is on my flip phone video on YouTube, Rob Braxman Tech, and there's a specific model I recommend. Go check out this very specific model. You got to be careful with the model, because you could get the wrong one. It's not going to work. Okay, and it's quite functional. I can text with it and do all that, and the neat thing is that I go around with this, and there's no way for me to get tracked with this like I do with this. So on this, I get the usual tracking, which is limited to cell tower, meaning, a wide area. What is the cell tower I'm closest to? That's about all they can get from this. This one is very, very precise. You haven't been around with Salvatore, my friend. How are you? Sorry you're not around, Salvatore. Thank you for being here. Can you use this? Has Wi-Fi? Yes, it has Wi-Fi, but it doesn't do Wi-Fi triangulation. What about the 5G fears? I don't. I don't have any 5G fears. I've researched. Back in the day, there were people complaining about being next to big antennas and so on from the military, and then came up to be nothing. So there's no reason for me to assume that that's changed, unless there's some sort of medical study that shows it otherwise. So, I studied medicine. I don't theorize on effects on the body based on some conspiracy theorist. I will base it on an actual study. So if there's a study that shows that rats and such get affected by large doses of RF waves, I would like to see that. But the last time I looked, which has been many, many years, but last time I looked, there was nothing that could be ascertained from that. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. So at some point, if that changes because somebody does a study, then we'll all consider it again. But I don't do that kind of guesswork with stuff like that. Okay? Because, that's what you learn from medical school. So, so it's all about the science. If there's a science, if there's a scientific study that explains it, I will do that. What are the loopholes for tax invasion? You must mean tax evasion. Badge. We survived 4G and no one is complaining. So 3D TV. So anyway, sticking to voice here. So Siri is a little bit different than Amazon Echo, and is different than Google Assistant, Cortana, and so on, than Siri. I can make this general statement of all the devices that I've just mentioned. Uh, Only Siri keeps your voice for a very short amount of time, which is 6 months. Only Siri keeps it for 6 months. None of the other ones delete your voice at all. So they're going to capture it whenever they can capture it, and it was never going to get deleted. Okay? Whereas Siri is 6 months. So that kind of tells you something. Now, the thing I do not do is go to the Hey Siri mode, okay, where it's in my pocket and I say, Hey Siri. Okay. Anytime you have this wake up world word problem, you're going to have an issue. It will capture conversations you don't want to get captured. So I don't do any kind of wake up word when I can. I will do press the zucking button when I want to talk to Siri. Press the zucking button. Why not make a voice profile like Bitcoin, crypto, what? Okay, so Amazon, Zuck Siri. Amazon, are you like a big Siri hater, Apple hater, but you love Google? Press to talk. Amazon gave you the option now for a safe version of Amazon Echo. So if you really are hard up and you just say, well, I don't want to get left behind. I want a voice print of my voice to be kept at Amazon. I don't want to be left behind in technology. If everyone else is going to have a voice print on Amazon, I want my own voice print on Amazon too. But I don't want to use the wake up word technology because it'll capture things that I don't intend. So I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is give you another option. If you really want to be up in the tech world because you're a millennial and you think that you should really be part of all that. Hello, Chagas guy. So if you want to do that, then the answer is very simple. You can now install Echo Alexa on your PC. You can now use Alexa on your PC. Okay, so in which case then you have to press a button to do Alexa on a PC. They don't do wake up words. No wake up words. Also, you can build your own Raspberry Pi as Amazon Echo, also without a wake up word. Press a button mode. Okay? So those are safer options in my mind for Alexa. They're not going to automatically capture conversations by accident using a wake up because they're press button mode. So if you really are really into that, you can use that. And then you can selectively press the button and then you make sure that only you get your voice profiled. Okay? Notice that they won't use Siri with a man's voice with a man's name. So anyway, I don't like having my voice profile. I don't, it's just get off your rear and do what Alexa does yourself. Well, I guess everyone's so lazy they don't want to even press the button. By the way, if you are not understanding how Alexa has improved over the years, the new versions of Alexa can actually hear your commands even from a different part of a house and can recognize which one is speaking. So if you go into the other room and say, Alexa, Alexa can actually do a wake up even if you're talking in another room. It doesn't have to be loud at all. The microphone has a long range capability and they can capture it from pretty far away, meaning end to end of your house. Yes, of course, it can hear bedroom sounds too. So in the middle of your bedroom action, hey, just say, "Oh, Alexa." If your wife or girlfriend is Alexa, then you are sucked. Okay, of course, Matthew. It has a better voice. It has a better voice profile of you, better voice print of you. Oh, Alexa, yes. Yeah. So every time, if you, I actually met many Alexas recently. Like, a couple times I found a server at the restaurant named Alexa, and I said, "Oh, you were for Amazon." Enter now. Well, Boston Dynamics is having a rocket challenge. Alexa, turn on my heating. So, huh? So I don't even use any of those things. Don't trust Alexa or any of them. They're smart. So anyway, if you're gonna compare, platforms, the only different one is the only different one is Siri. So Siri, in theory, is the safest one. The rest are about as unsafe as can be. So thank you for the super hard wall, door, floor. So I'm going to say they're all the same. So Alexa Echo technologically is probably the most tested. And basically, you just understand when you're putting Google Nest in your house, when you're putting Alexa Echo on some of these permanent hardware things in your house, that you are actually building in a way for long-term surveillance. Okay? You're building a long-term surveillance capability in your house, and they're emitting your IP address as well. I hope you passing them to a VPN router. I mean, just Matthew Vick. Matthew Vick, you should have a VPN router so that your ducking Alexa doesn't send out all of your data IP address every time you do anything and interact with it. OnStar can listen in even if you're not subscribed. You have to opt out. Zuck. Yeah, because they have a built-in microphone in your cars. That is true. On a Mercedes, there's a button on the top, and you have to press the button for SOS. You don't need an account, so that will be like the OnStar. So yes, they have that, and I know if I get into an accident, I just press that, and somebody will be there. So I know that, and even if you don't subscribe, they might say, "Well, we can't help you because you didn't subscribe." Well, I'm dying. Will you at least call the police because I'm dying here? And I'd say, "Well, sorry, no subscription." My brother-in-law stole my Alexis Zoc. I thought being a pastor that you only have good brother-in-laws. Find this to be interesting. Credit card, please. So anyway, let's just understand what it means in today's world in America, because the voice recognition technology is big in America. It's not big in any other country. You're not supposed to know that Mike was hot. Yeah. So here's what happened. I can just imagine the National Ducking Agency saying, I wish there was a way to listen in on every household because we want to turn this country into 1984 with Big Brother. But we don't know how to do that. And then Amazon said, "Oh, I got Alexa Echo." And then Google said, "Oh, I'm going to build Google Nest." Apple said, "Oh, we'll build Siri." Microsoft said, "We'll build Cortana." And so they built all this AI, and basically what we have is now a microphone infrastructure in Zucking America. Ripe for hacking, ripe for control and domination by three-letter agencies, ripe for listening in various ways. You don't actually know how they can be used. What if there's some secret RFID in there and they can send a signal and it can actually send things for the microphone? He thinks like you. My brother doesn't like tracking. Microphones everywhere. Well, he's Matthew, then he's a smart brother. Smart brother. So yeah, complete sound system hack. Now this is just understand, if I were a three-letter agency deep state kind of guy, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, "Whoa, this is awesome infrastructure. It saved us money. We got voice printing, They already did the voice print for us, and now we have the infrastructure. Let me just tell you something. Let me just tell you something that is interesting. Uh, the law states that recording your voice is subject to, some laws that you cannot record voices of American citizens. It's against the law uh, without their consent. Okay, so that's part of the law. And yet we've given permission for all these devices to record even without our permission. Okay, people in the house, you're visiting somebody's house and you're in the background and they're giving commands to Alexa and your voice is getting caught in the background. Okay, horsewit. Okay, so if you think about this infrastructure, they said, okay, well, this is really awesome infrastructure for us, three-letter agencies, and we love this. This is fantastic. But we're not allowed to record a voice. So I know what the solution is, says the three-letter agencies. Instead of keeping the voice, this is what we're going to do. We're going to capture the metadata of the voice, and then we'll capture the voice print. So because voice print is a metadata, or they're calling it metadata, and the metadata about the phone call, who you talked to, how long the call was, who was directed to, and so forth, that's also metadata. And they said, well, we'll make it like this. We'll identify people with certain metadata, but if they talk to a foreigner, then we turn on the recording, because that's going to be within the law to record a foreign person. So if we identify a phone call and voice printed to be Ron Waxman's voice, then we're going to say, okay, then we are good to go to record because Ron Waxman is Canadian. So let's go turn on the record switch. But the rest of us, you're just going to keep a voice print. Okay. Now, somebody will question the NSA and say, why do you have voice prints? We believe that's illegal for you to have voice prints. Okay. So the NSA thought about this in advance. So this is actually, from what I've read, this is actually what they've actually done. Hello, Sarah. This is actually what they've done. What they've done is they actually said that the voice print is not kept by the NSA. So what they did is they contracted out the voice print to a private company. I don't know who the private company is. You can make guesses. Palantir, one of those consulting companies of the NSA, hello, Sarah, or Amazon, or maybe they're using the same exact technology used by Amazon and whatever. The voice printing is very, very accurate, and so that's kept in an outside database. They can make use of it without having to be within the realm of the law, because they're going to say, well, we're a private company. Hello, Tamsin. So we're a private company, so we're not subject to any laws on storing voice printing. So we can store voice prints all we want, just like Amazon is storing your voice print. So I'm sure Cortana and all these other companies, they're all storing your voice print. So what is that going to be used for? Initially, they're going to say, we're going to use it for marketing. When you hear your voice print, we're going to match it to location, we're going to match it to identities, and we hear your voice, we're going to say, I got it, you're Rob, you live over here, and you're visiting your friend over here, and this friend of yours just bought himself a Volvo, so you must want a Volvo too, so I'm going to put some ads out, because you're going to want to copy the Joneses, so you're going to want to have the same car, so we're going to start to send you all the marketing materials, so you can also buy a Volvo. And that's the happy stuff that can be used for. And then, you cannot evade voice printing. You can Echo Voice. What a name. Echo Voice. Okay? Just understand that a voice printing, apparently, this is according to Snowden, is so accurate that they can pinpoint, a specific terrorist speaking in any part of the world. They can capture who that is in a matter of seconds. They said they've been working on this technology for a long time because they were stymied back in the 70s or something, when somebody defected to Russia, and they couldn't tell who it was that defected to Russia. So they solved that problem, and now with today's technology, it will take seconds for them to determine who defected to Russia if they hear their voice in Russia. They can tell you might have throat cancer based on your voice print. Quiet, accurate. So this is kind of scary stuff because again, never look at this by itself. You look at it in terms of how does it connect to, a wrong device. How does it connect to location tracking with this? How does it connect to your internet activities with your IP address, your real name, Matthew Ryan Vick, and his location? Where are you located, Matthew Ryan Vick? So I have a full story here. Where are you located, Matthew Ryan Vick? Dr. Matthew Ryan Vick. So, so if Matthew Ryan Vick is in the South somewhere, then we say, okay, then he's over here. This is his name, full name, match it to IP address, locations, and all that, and then they have a very, very full picture. In which case, it will be impossible to get off the brick. Esquire. Wow, Dr. Matthew Ryan Vick, Esquire. I can imagine people doing extreme modification on their voices now. There's an old Harrison Ford movie that used voice recognition tech against drug lords. So there's also a technology, going back to voice printing here. There's a technology that they already have, and it has to do with changing somebody's conversations on the internet. So you can actually have a machine talk for you. You can have a conversation and sound like somebody else. The technology was put out on the internet, and you can find it under the name Adobe Voco. Adobe Vocus. Adobe has this product called Voco, V-O-C-O, and you'll find many YouTube videos about it where you can change yourself to sound like anybody else just by having the AI, and this is AI based. It listens to voices, to a voice, and you train it for 2 minutes. You train it for 2 minutes, and then the machine will then speak with your voice, with the voice of the person that you train it on. And they built examples on copying George Bush, Putin, and Obama, and Clinton. Okay, so they took these past presidents and put them into the AI, and the AI was able to 20 minutes. Is it 20 minutes, not 2 minutes? And they can learn. Now, you can imagine the uproar with this technology. So, Adobe Voco had this. It was supposed to go to market, over a year ago, and they did not release it to market. They did not release it to market. It'll fool 100% of the people because there's no way for you to know. Use helium to mask your voice. So it will not anyway, they are able to sell this Adobe Voco, and there was so much pushback on the risks of this that they did not release it. So guess what now? So now this is in the hands of a few researchers, this technology, and I'm sure every three-letter agency or foreign version of the three-letter agencies have the capability to duplicate voices of any sort. This has to be a very common thing with people with sophisticated techniques. Or they could have just bought it from Adobe Voco and said, okay, we're the three-letter agency. We're going to buy that zucking technology right now. Okay, for national security. And so you have to assume that either they've already had it, made something better, or they're able to make it, but just assume that that exists. Would it be better among us all? The feds have control of nukes. We are okay. What the zuck are you talking about, Kelp? It will be on Fiverr in a few weeks. Copy my voice. Say this. Give me a speech in my voice. Pink Panther was a master of disguise. Okay. So this is technology that's out there with voice, and it's really, really, scary because again, you don't look at voice by itself. In a sense, voice is a confirming technology, but with voice printing, it will actually identify you by location. So think about this: you're out in the world, you're out talking like normal people, and your voice is spotted, and voice printing will spot your presence at any location. Sent to a global database, and then you're zucked. So a lot of you, I'm going to be, a lot of you are going to just maybe not thinking fully here of how you can apply this to everyday life. So I will tell you now that they've already implemented robots, police type robots or security robots in LA. They had it in New York, and now apparently they have it in LA as well. This kind of thing. Seen that? Okay, so that is now in existence. Okay? There. That was first used in New York, and that's now used in LA. Okay, so somebody spotted them in LA and sent me a picture. And so now that's here. So now we got it everywhere. So, now what is that? Again, if you start thinking about what these robots are, you start to understand that they have the same technology as, for example, a self-driving car. Meaning they can move around and have a database and know where to go, and they can locate themselves in various ways with the same exact technology as a self-driving car, which means they're very capable. Okay? Next, then you have the same issue of the fact that those things that are connected to the internet. So, can you imagine these things roaming around, and it confronts you and asks you to talk? And it says, show me your ID. And you say, you're a zucking robot. Why should I give you my ID? At that moment that you speak, the robot already identified you. Then you show your ID, and if you don't match to the voice they have, they're going to say, you're faking it. And then the robot pulls up its gun and points to you and says, stop. Don't move or I will shoot. Authorities are coming right now. If you move, I will shoot. I mean, some of you are thinking, wow, you're like theorizing a lot of stuff here. I'm not theorizing when you see that these things are actually around. They're here. Okay? These devices exist. These devices exist. They're in production. Okay? This is not fantasy land, when you find them in LA and then in New York. If you find a specific model in your neighborhoods, please let me know. So it's been spotted in LA and New York. Okay? This has been spotted in LA and New York. So if you spot the specific models, according to the person who spotted this, it wasn't when it was spotted in LA, it was not moving at the time. It was like recharging. I said it would be sad if I accidentally run one over and drug it. They have a website. I'm gonna carry robot mace. So I mean, I'm just trying to tell you that when I'm telling these stories, you say, well, he's kind of a conspiracy theorist, and I'm saying, I wish I were dealing with a conspiracy theory, but unfortunately, I think globally, and I think about all the stuff that they have about me, particularly locations, and I'm saying to myself, how do you zucking get off the grid? How do you zucking get off the grid? Okay? That's why I was trying to do these videos over the weekend of, how do I get off the grid? What do I do? And, being off the grid means I don't encounter these kinds of things. Okay? Off the grid, and maybe you don't encounter that. Does it have Bluetooth? I don't know what it has. Like a red-headed stepchild, move out of the lights. Move away from the cell tower. Hotspot. Get out of the internet. Robot is the new squash. So, well, nobody's coming in for this, so they prefer. So yeah. So what? So what's the story, guys? Are we unsafe with these? Are we unsafe with this, or are we unsafe with squash? What do you think? Do I still have squash? Let's see. Where's my squash? My squash disappeared. Did I do something to the YouTube chat, or nobody's chatting? But the YouTube chat is still here, right? I'm just wondering if I screwed up the YouTube chat in some way. How can tech people be so Luddite? Squash still around. Yeah, but it's not popping up on my screen here. So, yes, Kelp thinks that I'm being a Luddite because I appreciate the dangers of tech, and he does not. Okay? It's actually the opposite of being a Luddite when you actually can say, hey, you understand the danger of the tech because I'm a techie. You don't understand it, Kelp, because you're not a techie. So from a techie speaking out, I'm going to say, sucked up. Sucked up. Hello, Kathy. How are you doing, my friend? We are here. Okay, so that's a huge security probe. Gets strip searched by a robot. Zuck. So, I appreciate dangers, but you want to tie the hands of law enforcement. Yeah, to you, Kelp, law enforcement should have no such things called warrants. So this is Kelp's thinking. It's funny, man, this Kelp. He thinks he lives in America, but he doesn't want to follow the laws of the country. He's saying, we live in America, and so I'm going to follow American laws, and we want to enable law enforcement. But I know, Kelp, you work in law enforcement, but you don't believe in rules to safeguard people based on the Constitution, based on abuse of police power. You don't think that's an issue because you're with law enforcement. I'm getting him wrong because he's law enforcement. You never said I do. I'm saying that you do, Kelp. I'm saying that because you have a one-track mind, and you think we don't need to worry about some things like abuse of power and things like that. That is not an issue. There will never be abuse of power. Constitutional extremism. I didn't realize that the Fourth Amendment was a constitutional extreme, Kelp. The Fourth Amendment, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, these are not, I never thought of them as extreme. I thought they were like basic. But for Kelp, they're extreme because he's saying that we need to suspend the Fourth Amendment when we feel like it. We need to suspend the Fifth Amendment when we feel like it. We need to suspend the Second Amendment. Well, he doesn't think we need to suspend the Second Amendment, but Fourth and Fifth certainly yes. Okay, so if they want to strip your Second Amendment rights by tricking you with the Fourth and Fifth Amendment, you're probably not going to like that, Kelp. because you don't think that there's any abuse of power, because you're saying, well, we don't want to like curtail law enforcement from committing crimes because they're all perfect. So yes, that's the kelp thinking. So unfortunately, I don't think like that. Fortunately for you, because one of the topics I'm going to talk about next week, one of the topics I'm going to talk about next weekend is, in a deep way, I'm going to talk to you about stingray. Okay, I'm going to talk about stingray, kelp. Since you love law enforcement having no controls whatsoever, we're going to talk about stingray. So we're going to talk about new versions of stingray and how they work. You can build your own stingray, by the way, with a Raspberry Pi. I have a tank. What? So yeah, you can build your own stingray with a Raspberry Pi. You probably will want to understand the capabilities of stingray, and I'm going to discuss that in detail next week, this coming weekend. Saturday, Friday, Saturday, not on Easter. I'm not broadcasting on Easter. And then Kelp will say, how many terrorists did the stingray catch? As far as I know, 0. Kelp, they're being used for pre-crime. Yeah, they're used for. They were initially used by the Department of Health, Department of Homeland Security, for terrorists, but they're not being used for that. They are. You can build a stingray detector, but they have gotten more sophisticated and requires. It's true, Kelp. You make up your stories about how your Patriot Act has caught so many terrorists. Would you like to name them? Give me a list of terrorists and what they actually did, and to justify spying on 100% of the population. And tell me how many terrorists you got, and how did it affect our freedoms, and how you now cross the border. And even if you're an American citizen, then you are going to get, I want a compilation, Kelp. And tell me what you actually stopped. Okay? So, as far as I know, all these shootings occurred, and they didn't stop any of those. So, Kelp will say, well, we didn't stop the shooting in all these school things and so on, and all these bars and whatever. So, let's spy more. They do spy on everyone, Kelp, and that is why you're so sucked up. We don't spy on everyone. Well, then what are you saying? That Snowden lied? Can you just invent a better story, Kelp? Go to Wikipedia and tell me, oh yeah, that document is false. There is no prison program that tracks every single phone call you've ever made. Okay? That doesn't exist. Just tell me that. Just tell me. Oh yeah, PRISM doesn't exist. Obama confirmed PRISM. Oh yeah, but we don't really capture your voices. We only capture the metadata. Oh well, Snowden was a liar, so all these documents, he made them up. So all these NSA documents on Wikipedia about what was released and released by the Guardian and the Washington Post, they're all fake. Well, Kelp, show me the fake document and say, do a broadcast, Kelp, and say this particular document is fake and that's fake and that's fake. So show us what's fake, instead of making these statements like, well, Snowden's a lackey, whatever. Show me the documents that are fake, because no one's disputed it. They can always go to Wikipedia and say this is not true, but yet it's posted on Wikipedia and nobody's ever questioned it. Somebody from the government can go to Wikipedia and say these are disputed facts. They did not. Yes, custodian survey, yes. So Kelp says we deserve more of the Patriot Act, and so does all of those hawks in Congress. They think that we deserve that. Well, Salvatore, unfortunately, Snowden did commit a crime, so, for our benefit, but he sacrificed himself. He knew what the sacrifice was, and he committed a crime, and he knows that. So, that's unfortunate consequence. and uh, and the only way he can escape this is if he gets pardoned. Otherwise, he's not going to get to escape that. I mean, it's not like it's not like Assange. Assange can argue freedom of speech, First Amendment. Uh, Assange can't argue that. Weaponized quantum computing. So Snowden could be anything. Could rob more than we could ever know. What? Snowden could be anything. Rob more than we could ever know. What does that mean? But why? But why what? Weaponized quantum computing. Keeping it safe is stupid. Let's see. Where was See, I don't understand the comment, Daryl. Okay, so the squash has no effect anyway, as you can see. It didn't touch my numbers, so because I'm not on the global list. So this is right now quite useless. So we'll go back to the this thing here that looks like Ron Waxman's junk. Meaning he can be a double agent to spy to hero to be having to keep. Oh, what a conspiracy, Starlight! So he purposely released all of the NSA documents for us to see. Okay, got it. Dude was talking about D-Wave, trying to get context. I have many scopes on D-Wave, and what that's used for. Remember your own words. Trust no one and question everything. Yeah, but you have the documents, Starlight. So, what? Chelsea Manning did not release the documents and stole it from the database. That was not what was published on Wikipedia on WikiLeaks was false. What was published in the Guardian was false. There's documents. Okay. So they're documents. It's not like somebody's claiming the documents are false. No one has claimed the documents are false. So forget who gave it to you. Watch out for those claiming if the documents are false. So if no one's claiming the documents are false, then why aren't they claiming the documents are false? Are you saying it helps them to show you that they're spying on you? I don't know. You're that's truly a you're getting into your conspiracy mode. So I mean it's healthy to question, but I'm not even questioning. I'm not even questioning the person. I'm just questioning the documents. There were documents. So Kelp is saying, well, Snowden is this, Snowden is that. Well, question the documents then. Okay, maybe they want us to think we are being watched so we won't get crowned. It could be just a bigger picture. Maybe somebody wants to release those documents from the deep state because they want a civil war. Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. Maybe the Illuminati wants a civil war, so by releasing this types of documents, we look down upon the government and then cause a civil war. That's a possibility. However, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just gonna focus on what's in front of me at the moment. So all I can tell you is all of this is confirmed in multiple ways by different things, okay, and by different parties. For example, there's a CIA leak. Okay, there's a CIA leak. Now, CIA leak went to WikiLeaks, a completely different party. The WikiLeaks CIA leak is equivalent to what's happening with the NSA, but done at the CIA level. So, are you saying that also got released because of conspiracy? Well, starting to get to be, starting to get into the QAnon kind of world here, which I'm not interested in. Okay, I don't come here and teach you about. I don't come here and teach you about possible conspiracy theories and then go theorize about them. I'm just telling you what it is. It is what it is. The facts are there. The government is spying on us. The government is doing many things that relate to undoing the Fourth Amendment. This is obvious. It's being done right now. Rule 41, the mass surveillance by the CIA, mass surveillance by the NSA, Patriot Act, FISA Court. All of these are known things that lessen the impact of the Fourth Amendment, the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. Okay, so it's there. So if you're going to tell me, well, it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know what the purpose of the conspiracy theory is. I'm just telling you that so far nobody pays attention to me. So if it's a conspiracy theory, it's not fucking working, because I shouldn't have to work this hard trying to tell you that this is going on. Right now, I have to work so hard, which means it's not working. So people think, well, we don't really care. They're all sounding like kelp. We don't really care that there's a conspiracy to go do mass surveillance. We don't really care about that. That's not important. They can keep doing that. That's a good thing, because we'll catch some terrorists. So yeah, I don't know. Starlight. That just doesn't ring true. Sometimes we have to use our common sense, okay? So these are independent pieces of data that I'm giving you. Even the pieces of data that I'm giving you about technology related to voice recognition and all that, these are all related into independent moves in technology using AI and so on, bringing us to a completely different world with technology that relates to a 1984 kind of world. Mass surveillance seems to be like a gross waste of effort. Well, I would like to believe that, but they unfortunately keep doing it. So, and when you understand what they can do, hello, Simon Pickup. So just as an example of some of my concerns, hey, you were talking about the Russian hack of the supposed Russian hack of the DNC, which I don't agree is a Russian hack necessarily. I mean, I have questions. It could be a Russian hack, maybe it's not, and there's enough for me to question that it's not. And unfortunately, that's the narrative, that it is a Russian hack, and yet the mass surveillance proves that they have those exact documents that are supposed to be held by the hacker, the supposed hacker. Those exact documents are in the hands of the National Security Agency. So then I start to wonder, well, why does nobody mention the fact that your email is being kept by the National Security Agency? Why does nobody talk about that? Are you saying they don't keep your email? And I'm telling you, they do keep your email. And there are, news articles that confirm this. And I've shown you the technology is so basic to do this that it would be dumb not to keep email. It would be pretty dumb, because they could have done it. Since they could have done it since the 90s, they are doing it, because I can't imagine them not doing it. Would be really stupid of three-letter agencies to not do something so easy to do. Okay? Using simple Wireshark equivalent packet sniffing of emails, which they can do anytime they want, so easily, and in fact, they do. So if they do keep your emails, then how are you telling me that the DNC hack could have come only from the DNC through a hack? It could have come from an insider. It could have come from a hacker. It could have come from deep state, NSA. It could have come from any of those. So since I don't know where it came from, then I have to theorize and say, well, those are all possible. So I'm going to look for evidence to see, is it more possible here, more possible there? Don't know, don't have all the facts. All I can tell you is at the moment, I'm split on them equally. I would say they didn't prove it to me in a technical way that I can trust. They've left so many holes in there that they give a political answer rather than a technical answer. So from a political point of view, yes, they explain it to you so that half of you believe it, and then from a technical answer, it's it's not a realistic story. So that's the kind of thing I can question, because what do you think is going on? I'm just saying that the data for the emails can be possessed by anyone with access to the server, like an insider. It could have been accessed by any hacker. Yes, any hacker, even a kitty hacker from any country. Could have been easy to do. And it's also the same email messages that would be in the possession of deep state, the NSA. So between all of them, you say, well, who has a motive? Well, motives aside, the target is Hillary. So all you have to say is, there's somebody in the world not like Hillary. That's the motive. Not a complex motive. I mean, there could be many that will fit into that category. So if that's the case, then you have to distrust everyone and say, well, which one? So then they came up saying, well, the hack was because we proved it's Russian, and they get all the reasoning for because it's Russian, and it's like makes no sense at all. Deep state has control of nukes. Some things we trust to certain institutions. I thought the president had control of the nukes. Trump and Putin. So, get rid of all of them. Less government. Yes, that's true. Even accessed by script kiddies. Yes, Drac. So yes, a script kiddie could have captured email, using existing viruses. That's also quite possible. Just imagine if 10% of the people took a stand. So anyway, I'm not giving you an answer or an opinion saying, well, it's one or the other. It depends on your narrative. You want to, your Kelp believes that I believe in anarchy, which is so stupid. Okay? I don't even get a ticket. If I can't even get a traffic ticket, where's the anarchy, you zuck? Zucked up, Kelp. I'm the anarchist, and I haven't even gotten a traffic ticket. Oh, you're such an anarchist. I don't even have a problem with an IRS audit. I got an audit, was a full audit. And it's like, the IRS agent and I were good friends by the time it was over. Did you say get rid of government? What does that help? We want to get rid of abuse of government. Abuse. Yeah, it's just because I can't, I will do it. I will avoid cameras where I can, Simon. But people want to be stupid morphing zuckers. Yes, Daryl. So, Kelp thinks I'm an anarchist because I believe that we should follow the law. Kelp believes that if you follow the law, which is the Constitution, that I'm an anarchist. There's your Kelp. Oh, so where have they been abusing? Oh, I guess mass surveillance is not abuse. Mass surveillance is not abuse, according to Kelp. Doing FISA without a proper defense is not abuse. Doing Rule 41 that says one-sided, that if you use any kind of encryption, then you must be a bad guy. No defense. Going to the border and stopping American citizens and saying, we're going to look at your computer, whether you like it or not, even though you're covered by the Fourth Amendment because you're a citizen. We're going to allow that because according to Kelp, that is not zucking abuse. That's what according to Kelp. You're just so sucked up, Kelp. You're so sucked up. I don't know what to tell you. Sucked up. I really wish you would put your comments on YouTube so we have a record of it on the video. It's really a bad thing for you to leave comments here on Periscope. We need to see those comments there on YouTube so we have it there in the video so it's clear. So anyway, these are complicated times. Well, you're making it more complicated because, it used to be okay and now we're not okay. They say, oh, we need to, used to be a balance of rights. Used to be balance, you say, if somebody just says, I'm going to be doing a fishing expedition to look for crimes. I'm going to go to your house and check in every drawer. Maybe I'll find something illegal that you're doing and use that as a fishing expedition. Or maybe I can ask you a bunch of questions and using a fishing expedition questionnaire, if you don't answer it, you can say, well, you lied to the feds and therefore I'm going to take you to jail for lying to the feds. So, those are more kind of fishing expeditions. And that's an abuse of power. And according to Kelp, they're okay. They should do that. So as an example, this is something that Kelp would believe in because he really believes in abuse of power. So in California, if you go through Capistrano, the Capistrano area in Orange County, which is just past San Diego, and they put a checkpoint there. Now that is way within U.S. borders. We're talking, way within U.S. borders, like 60 miles in. Okay, 60 miles. Hello, Allie. 60 miles in the U.S. And they stop you at the border out there, and and what their purpose is to see if you're harboring illegal aliens. Okay, so there was a video on YouTube. There's a video on YouTube where this guy was asked to open his trunk, and he said, "Am I being arrested? Can you open your trunk, please, sir? Am I being arrested?" And then this argument went on and on. And if I'm not being arrested, I'm going to go now. And, and this argument went on and on because he was the immigration agent can't do anything because Fourth Amendment. There has to be a warrant in order to do that. So they can't just go demanded you to go on a fishing expedition of a random person picked out on the street from a checkpoint and say, we're going to go open your trunk. And the guy fought it. Now me, I probably opened my trunk because I said, fuck you. I don't care. Open the trunk. Okay? Doesn't matter to me. But this guy said, no, I don't want to open my trunk because it's part of Fourth Amendment. That is his right. That is his right. Okay, and to Kelp, it's like, oh, we don't need those kinds of rights. Well, he was being stopped randomly, Captain Peacock, in the middle of, of a freeway. So they might plant something in his trunk. You don't know what, that wouldn't be the first time. Drought. I don't play much piano anymore. Nobody comes to my piano. So anyway, because of a violation, there's no violation. It's a roadblock. It's a roadblock. That's not a violation. There's a roadblock. This exists here in California forever. Okay. Hello, Allie. Nobody. When I play piano, people leave. So it's kind of frustrating. I play a little bit of piano, people leave, and I'm just so frustrated. So I have separate videos for music, lots of them. I have so many concerts. Some I haven't published yet. So I have many, many concerts that I've done that I haven't even published. So anyway, coming soon, random strip searches. I asked Kelp, would you like to have, police roadblocks at, every block in your house so you can protect yourself from terrorists? And he said, yeah. I mean, that's the kind of, that's the kind of sucked up attitude he has. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Borders are a quiet war. We all sleep in comfort. Oh yeah, right. Okay, so that gives him a right to go to put a roadblock 60 miles in and then go investigate every citizen that comes by. That is covered by the Fourth Amendment. How many skyscrapers fell? Hello, Angel. So yes, obviously you can see I completely disagree with Kelp because I believe that we need to make sure that government is following the Constitution, and if it follows the Constitution, it's a great government. We just can't allow abuse of that. It's if we follow the three branches of government and in balancing it out together with the Constitution, I think it works perfectly. It's when one of these parties start to abuse any one of those that I don't like it. Yes, I know, Daryl. It's very, very sad. So anyway, that's my opinion. It's I'm I I just I'm a civil libertarian according to Alan Dershowitz. So that's what I believe in. Constitution applied selectively throws everything off. Oh, good. Kelp, thank you. Thank you, Kelp. Thank you, Kelp. He doesn't agree with that, but Kelp just agreed with me. Kelp just agreed with me. Let me just repeat it for you. So somebody should take a screenshot of what he just said. Constitution applied selectively throws everything off. Perfect. Thank you. Good job, Kelp. Okay. Now, does he really understand what he just said? No, but yes, that's what we don't want. We don't want the Constitution to be applied selectively. We want it to be applied in a consistent manner, following the rules set by the courts in a way that doesn't abuse us. So the next kind of abuse you'll hear about, which Kelp loves, is Stingray. Stingray. So you're going to hear about Stingray. I did some research on Stingray, and we'll figure out what the Stingray is all about. I'll do my research and then tell you about it on over the weekend. So Friday or Saturday we'll talk about Stingray, and then I will not scope on Sunday. Okay. So that's what we'll do, and thank you, Kelp. You keep talking, and you're actually supporting my cause. So, you don't even know it. So you don't even know it. You're talking about it. Okay. By the way, just Simon, I want to talk to you about two-factor authentication, Simon, and the fact that I'm adding Google Authenticator use on Brax. So Brax.me is equipped to handle a Google Authenticator as a one-time login. Okay, so that's working. I haven't turned it on yet. There's still one minor bug that seems to affect the production one, but the test one is running great. And Simon was making a comment that I shouldn't use a Google Authenticator with 6-digit numbers as a password because of the word entropy, meaning if you use 6 numeric digits, you're only giving 999,999 password options. Okay? Because the password could be anywhere from 00000 to 999999. So that's only 6 digits. So he's saying that's not a safe password to use. That's actually incorrect. Simon. I mean, you should know better. You're an expert at this. So I'm going to correct you. If you use a Google Authenticator, you cannot ever enter 99999 times, because that's not actually the number of options. Every second that changes, for every few seconds it changes, the set of possibilities change. So it actually changes the whole set of numbers every few seconds. So within a minute, you're actually replacing the whole population of numbers. So unless you can do it all unless you can enter all the numbers within 30 seconds or less, then it's not going to work, because then the changes will override whatever the entropy is. The entropy only lasts for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or a minute, depending on how the clock is running there. Okay? So if you build a tolerance by number of prior numbers, 1, 2, or 3. So let's say you say we're going to store the last 3 numbers, which will give you about a minute, then you're saying that the entropy is limited to 6 digits. Actually, yes, they're limited to 6 digits within that window of 1 minute. You cannot enter 6 digits in 1 minute. It's impossible. And by the time the next minute runs, the entropy changes again, because you've just recomputed a new seed, and it's a whole different set of numbers. So the numbers you just passed could be used by the next number. So it can't. It'll be never ending. So actually no, you can't. It's not gonna work, Simon. Not gonna work in this method. Not gonna work. That's why it's good. It's still pretty secure. I actually thought about, do I terminate the Google Authenticator if you enter a password wrong 10 times? And then I realized, no, I don't know. It doesn't matter. The entropy changes, because the whole computation of the set of available numbers changes every time it creates a new seed based on the time. So you could be reusing numbers you already just entered. The number that you said is false could be a number you just used. So no, the likelihood of you ever doing it's almost incredibly impossible. So I would say that as a password, it's by the way, Microsoft uses OTP as a single factor, and so Microsoft using a single factor. Many entities are using a single factor. I'm going to use it in my case a single factor as well, because I don't think for this kind of application that there's any chance of this being an issue. So, and all I do with it is use it to trigger you to change your password anyway. If you enter a authenticator key, you just reset the password. So I'm not going to retain the thing anyway. So touche kelp. So that's instead of accepting or forcing you to put email or phone numbers on Brax, if you want to have password recovery on BraxMe, starting in maybe tomorrow, you will be able to use Google Authenticator or Authy or whatever. Those two are the most popular ones, Google Authenticator and Authy, and you can use that to recover your password if you ever forget it on BraxMe starting tomorrow. And then you don't need email or phone number. That will not be necessary. So I will not even require it. YouTube is dead. Why is YouTube dead? Did YouTube die? The broadcast died, or just nobody's talking to you? Yeah, it's like a bad habit. They talk. Hello, Jericho. They like talking on. They like talking on Periscope more. Okay, so anyway, that's the plan in the next day or so to turn on authenticator apps on Braxame starting tomorrow. Is Braxame too secure for stable interaction? No, it's not. That's why I'm making it easier even. Why is the Fed and IRS private owned corporations? Why is the Fed and IRS private owned corporations? Is it the IRS is a private owned corporation? The post office is a corporation, right? Or separate entity. More conspiracies. So I didn't know about the IRS. The Treasury is, I believe, it's a separate corporation. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Federal Reserve is. Yeah, we're going tinfoil here. Don't make me tinfoil, guys. I'm not tinfoil, okay? Okay, I am not tinfoil. So if you're trying to turn me into a tinfoil hat guy and then start asking me about who the QAnon is and all this, and I don't even know what that's all about. And I just saw a post recently that all these conspiracies that everyone has. It's like come on. So if you were brute forcing, you'd have to start again every minute if you can do 1,000 attempts per minute. Right, and you can't really do that. You can't make that many attempts even if you wanted to. Then it takes 500 minutes to hack. No, it's it's if you set it to two numbers, it's only like 40 seconds. Or if you say I'm only going to accept one number instead of two, meaning then you're left with 20 seconds. And then the entropy changes every 20 seconds or so. So no, more than that. More than that. So anyway, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm up to, I've been getting subscriptions from people not on Periscope, but just some, people on YouTube, which is awesome. And I've surpassed 4,000 minutes a while back. So I'm looking at 5,000 minutes soon. So targeting 5,000 minutes. So we're good on that front. I'm being reviewed now for monetization on YouTube, and I'll try to come up with some interesting videos. But next weekend we'll be focusing on Stingray. So hopefully you come watch that and spend your a little bit of your Easter break with me, talking about Stingray over the weekend on Friday or Saturday, not on Sunday. Okay, no scope on Sunday. Okay, guys. So thank you for watching, and sorry we had to be disrupted there with what the Zuck is Stingray. Find out, Daryl, another abuse of your rights. I'll be on the beach, may or not tune in. How to tell if microphone is on? Go to your microphone setting on your computer and turn the volume off. Believe it or not, that's pretty good. Stingray is a cop's dream. Stingray keeping his also. There you go, Kelp. Kelp from law enforcement. Maybe he's the sheriff of his town in Maryland. Okay, later, dude. Later, Drought, old man. Unplug that. Yes. Good night. Good night, guys.